It is in your hands to make a better world for all who live in it. Overcoming poverty is not a task of charity, it is an act of justice. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others. It always seems impossible until it's done. Lead from the back and let others believe they are in front. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I am not a saint unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. When a man is denied the right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. A good head and good heart are always a formidable combination. But when you add to that a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. It is said that no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails. A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. I am the captain of my soul. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. Where you stand depends on where you sit. One of the things I learned when I was negotiating was that until I changed myself, I could not change others. Appearances matter, and remember to smile. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's inspiring others to move beyond it. Live life as though nobody is watching, and express yourself as though everyone is listening. You will achieve more in this world through acts of mercy than you will through acts of retribution. One cannot be prepared for something while secretly believing it will not happen. In my country we go to prison first and then become president. We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Know your enemy and learn about his favorite sport. It is not where you start, but how high you aim that matters for success. There is no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintop of our desires. I am not an optimist, but a great believer of hope. Sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. You can be that generation. Your playing small does not serve the world. Who are you not to be great? I am the master of my fate and the captain of my destiny. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. We must use time creatively and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. Tread softly, brother, peacefully, laugh hysterically. The brave man is not the one who has no fears, he is the one who triumphs over his fears. When the water starts boiling, it is foolish to turn off the heat. I have never cared very much for personal prizes. A person does not become a freedom fighter in the hope of winning awards. Money won't create success, the freedom to make it will. There are few misfortunes in this world that you cannot turn into a personal triumph if you have the iron will and the necessary skill. Only free men can negotiate, prisoners can't enter in contracts. No single person can liberate a country. You can only liberate a country if you act as a collective. I never lose, I either win or learn. I could not imagine that the future I was walking toward could compare in any way to the past that I was leaving behind. It is music and dancing that make me at peace with the world. Peace is the greatest weapon for development that any person can have. Once a person is determined to help themselves, there is nothing that can stop them. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. We owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in any society, a life free from violence and fear. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was a former president of South Africa, the first to be elected in a fully representative democratic election, who held office from 1994 to 99. Before his presidency, Mandela was an anti-apartheid activist and the leader of the African National Congress's armed wing Umkhonto Sizwe. The South African courts convicted him on charges of sabotage, as well as other crimes committed while he led the movement against apartheid. In accordance with his conviction, Mandela served 27 years in prison, spending many of these years on Robben Island. Thanks for watching. If you like, please share and subscribe.